Alright, out of all the tier lists I've done so far, this is the one I've been so eager to do. Now, if you don't watch Star Wars movies, if you've never seen Star Wars, if you're not interested in this crap, go ahead and stop watching. But if you do watch Star Wars, if you're a fan, or even if you just watch, if you're a casual fan, you might want to stick around. Because I've been waiting so long to do this. I've made top 10 lists in the past and stuff like that, but this is kind of official, you know? So, kind of nervous, I don't know. Alright, let's start. Episode 2. This movie was not good. Thought it was good, but after watching it, after growing up, it's not that good. But I don't have a problem with its flaws. What I mean by that is the movie wasn't good because of the writing. Sometimes the CGI, I believe. I'm sorry, my mind is kind of toasted right now, but definitely the writing and acting were bad. Or not the acting, just the writing, bad dialogue. And CGI. But the story was fantastic. So I can't really, the positives outweigh the negatives. That's what I'm trying to say. But it was still a pretty below average movie. So I gotta give it a C. Empire Strikes Back. Alright. I think this is one of the best Star Wars movies ever, in my opinion. I really liked it. Everything about it, the story, the acting, was great. And the bad guys win at the end. Isn't that something? They were the first ones to do that. No, you thought Infinity War was the first time the villain won at the end of the movie? No, Empire did that first. Gotta give it a super. Force Awakens. Oh jeez. Oh jeez. Okay, this movie. I accepted this movie. Okay, it don't get me wrong. It for sure had its problems. Like for example, whenever Rey used Jedi mind trick on the stormtrooper in the whatever wannabe Death Star, I was like, wait, what? That came out of nowhere. Like she straight used a Jedi mind trick, and she's only knew of the Force for like a few days, not even a few days, maybe a few hours or one day, and she's already using just Jedi mind tricks. What? That doesn't make sense. The whole thing with Rey in this movie didn't make sense. That and it was kind of a rip-off of episode 4, not gonna lie. It was structured like the same. It was the same storyline as episode 4. It even had the desert planet and the model Death Star and all that stuff. But I accepted it, and it set up a lot of good storylines for the future. It set up a lot of good stuff for the future, so I can't hate on it that much. I understand why they wanted to play it safe with this movie. Why they wanted to make it feel like of something fans have already seen before. So I can't really hate them for that. Here I have no problem with Han Solo dying either. It was very sad. So yeah, I can't hate this movie. It wasn't that bad. Could it be? It wasn't bad at all. If it wasn't for Rey and how she was so powerful without any training or anything, if they explained that kind of in a better, or portrayed it in a better way, maybe I'd bump it up to A, but they didn't. Last Jedi, oh god. Man, Last Jedi. Dude, I hate this movie. I hate it. It ruined the whole sequel trilogy. Like I said for Force Awakens, at least they were setting something up. It was the beginning of a bunch of new storylines. With Captain Phasma, with Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren, Luke Skywalker, Finn, the defective stormtrooper, all these new storylines and mysteries that this movie set up, and Last Jedi just came in and wiped all of that away. It really did. And there was no lightsaber battles either. This is the first Star Wars movie ever that didn't include a lightsaber battle. And Rogue One and Solo don't count because they're not part of the saga. But the first movie did not feature lightsaber battle? What? That's iconic to Star Wars. You can't make a Star Wars movie without lightsabers fighting each other. That was so. This movie was disappointing overall. So yeah, I there's no possible way I could even rate Last Jedi in top tier. So I'm sorry. Absolute D. I would give it an F if there was an option. It would honestly belong. It doesn't even belong on a Star Wars list. Remove it from canon, please. Star Wars Episode 4, the first Star Wars movie ever, and for good reason. It was pretty popular. It was revolutionary. I like this movie. Can't really think of anything wrong about it. I mean, it was the first of its kind. It was like the beginning of the story, so you can't really criticize it. Yeah, I mean, I had to give it an A. Super, I don't know about Super. I want to, but I don't know. It's a great movie, but it doesn't. I don't know. I kind of do want to give it a Super. Oh, let's give it an A for now, just to keep everything balanced. Phantom Menace. Oh God. Oh, this movie sucked. Just like Attack of the Clones, I thought this movie was good when I was younger, but after watching it, being mature and all that, oh, it's so bad. It's so bad. And don't get me wrong, everything with Darth Maul is great. The lightsaber battle is one of the best. It's amazing. But everything else before that was just not working. It had the same problems as Attack of the Clones did in terms of writing, acting, in terms of the kid, Floyd, whatever his name is. CGI too was off, and Jar Jar Binks was just, oh God, what a mess. Really disappointing for the return of Star Wars. I gotta give it a C. It's D. Sorry, D, not C. D. I wish it was an F though. Anyway, Return of the Jedi. It was solid. I don't remember. Man, I actually haven't seen this movie in a long time. I've seen like 5 and 4 recently, but I haven't seen episode 6 in a long time. I don't know why. It's not bad. I mean, I think it was a good, perfect, not a perfect ending, but pretty solid ending to the trilogy. It definitely was able to land on its feet. So yeah, I can't really remember anything like bad about this movie, like really bad. I like this movie includes some of my favorite scenes from Star Wars. That scene where Luke Skywalker is captured and he talks to Darth Vader, and Darth Vader was like, "It is too late for me, my son." And then Luke Skywalker said, something, "If that is true, then my father is truly dead." Oh my God, that's perfect. That's movie porn. That's just awesome. Everything in the throne room was awesome. Darth Vader dying at the end. Then Anakin Force Ghost with everything. I like the ending of this movie. It was way more memorable than the beginning. I'm gonna give it a solid B. Rogue One. I loved Rogue One. I'm not even gonna shy away from it. I really loved it. I think people expected too much from this movie, and that's why they didn't like it. But I loved it. It was a good movie. I mean, this movie wasn't supposed to be a fantastic movie, like one of the best ever, because how could they? I mean, they were trying to tell a story of 5 or 6 characters in one movie. Because, spoiler alert, all the characters die in the end. Like, they only really served one purpose. So don't expect, like, intense character development for each character in this movie. It's not realistic. And it's good for what it was. I enjoyed it. It was great. Great story of sacrifice. CGI was also fantastic. It was a pretty movie, like visually pretty. Revenge of the Sith. Oh, I'm gonna get some hate for this too, but Revenge of the Sith, man, I gotta put it in super. Look, the only reason I do that is because this movie, the last third of this movie is just fantastic. Like, once Anakin turns to the dark side, it's just top-notch Star Wars quality content from there. It's perfect. The fight scene with in the throne room, well, not the throne room, in the chancellor's, I don't know, desk or office with the Windu, and then Anakin turning, and then all the Jedi's dying, and then Yoda and Palpatine going at it, and then Anakin and Obi-Wan going at it. Dude, it's just perfect, man. There's so much emotion, so much intensity in those scenes, and everything with Anakin and Obi-Wan in that last half of the movie is just fantastic. Or honestly, everything with Anakin and Obi-Wan in the whole movie is fantastic. Like, it really seemed like they had a dynamic, a strong relationship in this movie. Whereas in Attack of the Clones, it was like kind of awkward. But they really hit it off in Episode 3. I loved it. Like, it seemed like they have been fighting together for years in Episode 3. They did a good job of that. I know people say, "Oh, the acting is not good." Dude, who cares, man? Who cares about the acting? If the story is great, who cares about the acting, man? That's all. Really, if a movie has a great story, then everything else doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously, you can have like really cheap CGI and terrible acting because it's gonna stand out. But if the story is great, man, then you can kind of like, okay, well, you can kind of ignore like the other bad stuff if it has a great story. If it doesn't have a great story, then you're kind of screwed. Even if you have Tom Cruise, Will Smith acting, and Avengers CGI, if your story is trash, the movie's gonna be trash. That's facts. And Revenge of the Sith was so crucial to the story of Anakin Skywalker turning to the dark side, and that's why I love it the most, because it's sad. It's not a happy movie. It doesn't have a happy ending. It's a very depressing, sad movie, and I really like it for that, because it's realistic and it portrays what real life is. And real life is not fair. It's sad. As much as we want Anakin to turn to the light side, every time I watch this movie, I there's still a part of me that's like, okay, Anakin, don't do this. Please don't do it. Don't kill these children. Don't turn to the dark side. Even though I know for a fact, because I've seen this movie thousands of times, I know that he doesn't turn to the light side, that he turns to the dark side. I know it, but I'm still rooting for him to turn to the light side. That's a terrific story, in my opinion. If a movie makes you think like that, even after seeing the movie hundreds of times, then they've done something right. Then they've got a great story, and that's what Revenge of the Sith is to me. It's a great freaking story. I don't know what other criticism people have about this movie. I think it's just like the acting and the writing, or I think people say, "Oh, that's too much together," and I don't think it wasn't that much together in my opinion. It fulfilled its purpose. And honestly, you don't have to watch like the first third or first half of the movie. If you just watch from the point where Anakin turns to the dark side, and you're probably good. Like that's just top-notch quality right there. It's just great. A great transition into Episode 4 too. I loved it. Love Episode 3. And it's not just because I'm biased, but I love it for the storytelling and just what it means to the whole Star Wars story. Alright, anyway, that's my rant on that movie. Solo. I don't know why Solo got so much hate. I mean, well, I do know why, because it came out after The Last Jedi and people wanted revenge on Disney. But this movie's not that bad. If you've never seen it because you're boycotting Star Wars or Disney or whatever, go watch it. It's actually pretty good. It was weird seeing a different actor play Han Solo, but you get over that, and the story, the heist style that this movie has is pretty good. And this movie wasn't really necessary, because Han Solo didn't need a backstory. He really didn't. I mean, all his character development was in the original trilogy, so he didn't need this movie. But it didn't hurt the character or hurt the franchise. In my opinion, I liked Solo. It's a good watch. That Darth Maul scene at the end, though, that was nice. Excuse me. Last but not least, oh jeez. Oh my God, Rise of Skywalker. Listen, you gotta be really easygoing with this movie, because they really had nothing to work with. No, I have so many opinions on this movie, but I'm just gonna say this about it. They only had 2 hours and 30 minutes to retcon the previous movie, start their own movie, like restart the story, and then finish the story, all in 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's not possible because Disney wasn't allowing them to make a 3-hour movie or something like that, or even they weren't allowing them to split it into 2 movies. They were like, you're gonna make a one movie that's 2 hours and 30 minutes, and somehow you gotta fix the sins of the Last Jedi and also repair the story and end the story. It's like, what? You can't do that in 2 hours and 30 minutes. It's not gonna happen. So I wasn't expecting a lot going into this movie, Star Wars: Rise of Skywalker. And you know, after it was all said and done, I wasn't disappointed. I was just like, yeah, well, that's what's gonna happen when you have a movie in your trilogy that ruins everything. You're talking about The Last Jedi. There were some really cool scenes in this movie, though. I mean, visually speaking, it's fantastic. I mean, when is a Disney movie not visually appealing? The one scene probably my favorite scene in the whole sequel trilogy is that scene with Kylo Ren and Han Solo. Man, that was so emotional. That was a great scene. It replicated the scene in Episode 7, but it was opposite. Instead of Kylo Ren killing his dad, he turned to the light side. That was beautiful. Yeah, like I said, I have lots of opinions on this movie, but you know, you can't expect so much from this movie going into it. I gotta give it a C. Yeah, I kind of want to keep talking about it, but it's not what this video is about. All right, that's my Star Wars movies tier list. So we at D, Last Jedi and Phantom Menace. That makes sense. C, Clone Wars and Rise of Skywalker. Yeah, that makes sense. B, Force Awakens, Solo, and Return of the Jedi. Yeah, checks out. A, 4, Episode 4, and Rogue One. Yep. By the way, if you do watch Rogue One and Episode 4, watch them back to back. It's amazing. And then Super, Empire Strikes Back, and Revenge of the Sith. Hey, that's a pretty complete tier list, if I say so myself. I'm actually really satisfied about this tier list. I think I did a pretty good job. Yep, I did a good job. See ya.